Hari Om children, let us start the session. We chant Om 3 times. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Om. Again take a deep breath. Om. Again take a deep breath. Om. Start beginning prayer.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
Hari Om students, be safe, be healthy and be happy. We are going to learn new supplementary, The Red-Headed Leak. It is one of the detective story. Sherlock Holmes and Watson were friends. One day he met his friend and he showed one advertisement in The Red-Headed Leak. Holmes also accepted go to the Red-Headed Leak. He worked 3 weeks. After that, the Red-Headed Leak was closed. At last, how Holmes found out the cause why the Red-Headed Leak was closed. This is the story of Red-Headed Leak. Let us see the story elaborately, children. Characters: Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective. Dr. Watson, a doctor and Sherlock's friend. James Wilson, a red-haired shopkeeper. Vincent Spaulding, Wilson's assistant, also known as John Clay. Duncan Rose, Spaulding's accomplice, a man with red hair. Mr. Jones, a detective from Scotland Yard.
Leak is an episode from Sherlock Holmes written by Sir Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle, a Scottish writer and physician best known for his creation of the detective Sherlock Holmes, one of the most vivid and reputed characters in English fiction. He wrote nearly 60 mystery short stories featuring the widely popular detective Sherlock Holmes and his loyal assistant Watson. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was studying to be a doctor at the University of Edinburgh's Medical School. He met Dr. Joseph Bell, who was a lecturer at the university. Bell's powers of diagnosis were very impressive, giving Conan Doyle a starting point for Holmes' finely tuned powers of observation. One day, Dr. Watson visited to his friend Sherlock Holmes at his house in London. At that time, Sherlock Holmes was talking to a new person in his living room. His name was Mr. Jabez Wilson. Mr. Wilson knew very well that Holmes was a famous detective, and so he wanted him to solve a mystery. Mr. Wilson had a small pawn shop in London and he had an assistant called Spaulding. He was not a very rich person because not many people visited his shop. One day, his assistant Mr. Spaulding showed an advertisement in the newspaper for a job with the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League found job for men with red hair. As Mr. Wilson had red hair, he urged him to apply for the job, as it had only 4 hours per day and the money would help him so much. So Wilson met the manager, Mr. Duncan Ross, and he instructed him that he had to come to the office between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and he can't leave the office. He had to copy encyclopedia in longhand. When he received the salary, Wilson was very much happy. But after 8 weeks, one day he went to the office. He would see that the red-headed league was closed. So he came to Sherlock Holmes to solve this mystery. Holmes asked Spaulding some questions and they left. He asked his friend Dr. Watson to go to a violin concert with him. On the way, he could visit the pawn shop. He hit the ground outside 3 times or 4 times. Then he knocked at the door. A young man arrived. He asked him how to get to the concert. He said that 3rd on the right and 4th on the left. Watson confused because Sherlock Holmes knew London very much. Then why should he ask him? Holmes replied that he wanted to see his niece and without explaining anything, he told him to come at 10 p.m. to Baker Street. Dr. Watson arrived to Baker Street that evening. He noticed that the important police person of the city, Peter Jones, and Mr. Merriweather, the bank manager, were talking to Sherlock Holmes. Holmes explained that they had to catch an important criminal, John Clay, that night. They all went down to the dog cellar. Merriweather explained that they had lots of gold coins in the boxes in the cellar room. Holmes explained that the thieves are going to come to the cellar from under the tunnel from Mr. Wilson's shop. And the policemen were there waiting outside, and so they couldn't escape. He darkened the room. After half an hour, one of the stones slowly moved up and to the right. A young man climbed up. It was John Clay, and he was caught hold red-handedly. Holmes explained that actually there was never any red-headed league. The villains wanted Wilson to stay away from his shop for some time to dig the tunnel to the bank cellar. The notorious thief John Clay gave the idea of red-headed league, and when he was away from the shop, he dug the tunnel to the bank cellar. Holmes knocked at the shop to see that Spaulding has dirt in his knee because he was digging the tunnel to go to the bank cellar. But he was caught hold red-handedly by a clever Sherlock Holmes.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते